Hey everybody, it's Gino coming at you to break down UFC 285. Super excited for this one. We got John Jones coming back, fighting Ciryl Gane. I'm actually more interested in this than Francis Ngannou. I'm kind of biased. I really like Ciryl Gane, but that's just me. So, anyways, before I get started, before we get to the whole card breakdown, we're going to get through it quick because I'm a little late getting it to you. Hit my channel with a subscribe if you have not done so. Also, leave me a comment of your favorite fight. Hit my channel with a like. And just reach out to me. Let me know what you're thinking. I appreciate any feedback you're willing to give me. That's how I grow. That's how we grow. That's how we get to know each other. And that's really what I enjoy about doing this. So, anyways, we have Ciryl Gane versus John Jones. I'm actually going to go Gane in this fight. I'm very conflicted because I love John Jones. But my thing is, if you ever tell me in any world that I could get Ciryl Gane in any fight for plus money, it's like, oh yeah, like hammer that down. And so I'm kind of like that here with Gane. And same for DraftKings. He's 7,800, okay? But he has only scored 99, 89, and 85 in his last 3 5-round fights. So I don't know. He gives up a lot of takedowns. If you look at John Jones, if he's able to transition well into the weight class, John Jones could get him down, could get control time, and in a win, he will score well. He has a better chance of scoring well in a win than Gane does. And so with that being said, I'm going to be pretty even on my ownership on them for DraftKings, because I'll tell you this, I'm going to play the under, but I'm not playing the fight or picking that and betting. That's way too hard to pick for me. So anyways, we have Alexa Grasso versus Shevchenko. This is much easier for me to pick. Okay, it's going to be Shevchenko, and it's going to be Shevchenko or pass. Now, it's a 5-round fight. I really like Shevchenko. I could see her going overlooked at 9,400. If I get on and I see her ownership is appealing in that, I may just elevate it and go ×2 on her ownership in my 150, because she could dominate this thing pillar to post, get striking, get takedowns, get control time, finish it at the end, or just get a decision and score well overall. So I like her a lot. She has a takedown upside as high as 7. You got Shavkat Rakhmonov. Let me move my face. Okay. You have Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Geoff Neal. All right, let's start with Geoff Neal. He's not a bad fighter. So it's interesting bringing him in here at $7,000. I think it's a good test for Rakhmonov, who's been running through people in the division. But Rakhmonov, he's really skilled and he's good. I think he's the real deal. But what happens to his gas tank if he's pushed? Geoff Neal, he got a split decision against Ponzinibbio, round 3 win over Luque. But the thing is, I don't know if those guys are Rakhmonov, but we're gonna find out. So with that being said, I do think Neal is live, but if you look at his DK scores, there's 120, 164, and 106, so he could even do like a really greasy decision and not score well. But I'm going to go with who I think is the superior fighter and not get cute with it and go Rakhmonov. And if I play anything betting, I'm going to go Rakhmonov submission or TKO, KO, because I think that's a good play. The under 1.5 is plus 125. And I'm going to be at least at the field on both fighters, because I think both fighters will score well in a win. Jalen Turner versus Mateusz Gamrot. This is one of my dog plays of the week, and I'm actually going to bet this. I do like Jalen Turner, and here's why. He's really fun to watch. But that's not why I'm going to play him. All 13 of his wins are finishes. Any guy like that you can get at dog money to me is dangerous, because that tells me they can just come out and just guns blazing, get a finish. And when you do that, a lot of skill, that can go by the wayside real quick if they can just stun you, spark you, and then get that finish. He's an explosive dog. He's got a lot of round 1 finish bonuses, so he can get the bonuses. He scored 125, 112, 106, and 116 in his last 4 wins. He's 7,600. Man, if he wins, I'm going to be a very happy man tomorrow when it comes to DraftKings. But if you look at Mateusz Gamrot, he's not one to sleep on. He's got 6 takedowns over Suzuki Arian, which is a very good fighter. So I think he comes in with a good game plan. He could get this to the ground, but then again, if he gets to the ground, could Slippery Turner be able to slide into a submission here? I just think this is a really good spot for a dog play. But I'm going to be over the field on both fighters, because you look at Gamrot, he's scored 107, 103, 97, 108. But he's not overpriced. He's only $8,600 too. So I really love this fight. It's one of my favorite fights on DraftKings. So if you got Bo Nickel, you got Pickett. I'm going nickel or pass, and I'm going to look at ownership. So we'll see, but I think nickel gets it done. I think he gets it done early, but he is $9,600 on DraftKings, which makes me hesitant to just go too crazy with my ownership on him. Now you have Trevin Jones versus Cody Garbrandt. I'm going to go Trevin Jones. I don't know how Cody Garbrandt's such a large favorite. He's 1-5 in his last 6. He has been finished 4 of his last 5 losses. His last credible win was to Dominic Cruz, and that was in 2016. No, don't like him. So we're going to go Trevin Jones, and we're going to go Jones or pass. He only scored, and the other thing, Garbrandt only scored 84 in that win versus Cruz. So now we're going to pass him on DK, and we're going to pick Jones. We're going to go with the dog, go with the value. Duplessis versus Brunson. This is another great fight that I really like, but I'm going to go Duplessis. I'm going to go with the favorite. I think Duplessis is the real deal. I think he's a stud. He scored 126, 80, 108, 110. The over 1.5 is minus 135, and he's fighting a Brunson who's 5-1. So Brunson's no slouch. And we're playing DraftKings. We're playing multi-tournament. So the good thing is you can kind of use ownership leverage and percentages to play both guys instead of trying to pick one, which this is a hard one. Because if you look at Brunson, he has beat Holland in a decision. He has beat Sabazi in round 3 TKO. He scored 102, 144, 110, 81 DraftKings points. So he's a good DraftKings play. Plus 380 to get a decision. I just think Duplessis is the better fighter. But if Brunson shows up ready to fight, he could win too. So I'm going to be elevated on both fighters. But my lean is towards the favorite in this fight at $8,700. Okay, so we got Araju versus Ribas. I'm going to use Ribas for a possible leverage play and maybe a sprinkle of Araju. And here's why I'm playing it like this. If you look at Ribas, she has a submission win over Van Zandt, which will score well at $8,300 on DraftKings. She's scored 101, 79, and 105 in her last 3 wins. So she hasn't scored too bad. And at $8,300, a lot of these female fighters tend to go overlooked from week to week on DraftKings. She can get some takedowns and she can get some control time. Like I said, she's $8,300, so to be in the optimal lineup at $8,300, she doesn't have to get much over 100. Or she could even possibly score like, depending on how the slate turns out, she could score like 98, 97, and then still end up in the optimal. If you look at Araju, on the other hand, she's plus 100. This is a near even money fight. Most people would say go with the dog in these female bouts that are so close, but I do like Ribas. I think Ribas could be further along. I'm going to bet her because I think there's value on that minus 120. But Araju, on the other hand, if you look at her, she's 93, 65, and 71 scored in her last 3 wins, so she doesn't score that well. She's not much of a finisher. She's 2-4. She's got 2 to 4 takedown upside and control time as well. So I don't say write her off, but I don't see her winning, and so therefore I'm going to sprinkle her just a little bit and play more of Ribas. But I'm not going to go crazy on the fight overall. Marquez versus Barriute. I don't think either guy's that great. But Marquez has just got a lot of submissions. All 3 of his recent wins have been submissions. He scored 105, 75, and 85 in DK. So even with finishes, he might not have the volume to score well. He has low takedown and control time upside. If you look at Barriute, on the other hand, he's 14-6. He's minus 150, $8,200. He has lost to Hernandez by submission. He has lost to Njoku by KO TKO. He's technically the favorite in this fight. Very close line, though. He's scored 101, 80, and 132 DraftKings points in his last 3 wins. He's pretty low volume, but he's a possible early finish candidate here. But he may even not score well in a win like that. So I'm going to be below the field on both guys. I may even fade the fight the closer I get because I'm going to mess with lineups the more and more we get closer to it. This is going to be Gary or pass, but I'm going to look at ownership because I may use this as getting leverage. Because one thing to note about Gary is he scored 95, 62, and 109. So he doesn't score that one, $9,300. I think a lot of people like Gary. He's becoming a very familiar name. So I may leverage that because you get a lot less experienced players on these types of cards just wanting to have fun. So I might capture that. That's just my little theory. I could use this as an ownership leverage spot. You've got Saman versus Martinez. I am going to go Martinez. I'm going to be heavy on both fighters, though. If you look at Saman, he scored 118 in his first win over Kozlov. But if you look at Martinez, he's more experienced. He's more experienced overall. He does have a decision loss to Lawrence, which I don't love. He has 2 round 1 TKO wins prior to that, and he's been 4-1 in his last 5. So at plus 220, I think there's value there for him. And he's $7,400. He scored 91 and 75 in his last 2 wins on DraftKings. And he could be optimal if he can land one of those round 1 finishes like he has done in the past. So I do like him. I'm going to be heavy on both fighters, but I love the ceiling of Martinez going into this as a $7,400 DraftKings fighter. Tabitha Ricci versus Panay. I'm going Ricci. I'm being different than I usually am. I usually do a lot of female dogs, but I'm not this week. I am going to go Ricci, and she is minus 295 on the money line. I do like her. She's got high volume, and she has multiple finishes in multiple ways, TKO and submission prior to her UFC. She could get back on track here against a Panay who's been finished once in her 3 recent losses, and she's been 2-3 in her last 5. She's low volume, and she'll need to hit a finish, early finish to score well. So it's going to be Ricci, and it's going to be Ricci or pass. I don't like Panay at all. I don't see a high chance of her getting a finish early. You got Blackshear versus Basharat. I thought Blackshear looked awful against the law. That no contest was actually a loss for Blackshear. All 4 of his wins were finishes prior to Zalal, though. But who did he fight prior to Zalal? Zalal was his first step up. Basharat, on the other hand, his brother looked really great the other week, but we're not talking about his brother. We're talking about him. Now, he had a recent decision win in the Dana White contestant series. Sorry, guys, I'm a little tired. And he's been just destroying people on his way to the UFC. He has, in that recent win in the Dana White contestant series, he has 116 significant strikes, 3 takedowns, which told me he can achieve a good score on DraftKings with his high volume. So it's going to be Basharat and Basharat or pass. He's a possible core play for me, but I'm not 100% on that. And then finally, we have Razabov versus Ribovics. I am going to go Razabov, and it's going to be over the field on both because both guys could get a finish here. You have an 11-0 Ribovics who, he just really hasn't fought anybody, and I think that the experience of Loic is going to give him the advantage here over Ribovics. But I think either guy can score well. I think this is a great way to start the card. So I'm going to be over the field on both guys. I love this fight. I'm really excited on the chances for violence. The under 2.5 is minus 140. All right, guys. Hey, so that's it. Thanks for hanging with me. If you have any questions, hit me up. Also, if you want 10% off for life, use my promo code DFL Gino on the DFS Army. We have an optimizer, cheat sheets, everything for DFS, UFC, as well as every other sport you can think of. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good one.